Mashiach is getting ready to come.
And hidden riches of secret places, that thou mayest know that I am the Lord.
Last words, brother.
Shalom, ma.
All right.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. All right. Shabbat shalom, Israel. Shabbat shalom. Radio check. You hear me okay? Loud and clear, brother Eitan?
Khan, I can hear you loud and clear. Shabbat shalom, Yashala, Israel. What is going on?
All right. I pray that you all are brought in the Shabbat and that you're enjoying the Shabbat with your families as we celebrate this memorial feast, everlasting feast of the Shabbat. All right, so we got ones in the chat box already, so looks like everybody's ready to go. So, name of the title, of course, roles and responsibilities of the Israelite man. And before we get into that, I kind of want to just start off by I want to show you something right quick. I want to show you a little layout here and kind of explain what's going on in our current day right now. And then, Brother Eitan, man, feel free to just jump in at any time. So, in order to understand like what's really going on, we get into the responsibility of the men. We got to understand the whole structure. The structure that we see right now, we have several classes, like 3 different classes of our people right now. So if you see on the far left, you see what looks like there's some businesswomen, and this represents all the businesswomen who are single and childless, but they're in the work profession and what have you. And these are the women, what they would call boss women or what have you, businesswomen. And again, these women are classified because they're single and they're childless. Now, if you look towards the middle, the bottom, where it says, when you see the Black Israelite family, all right, you see the man and you see the Israelite man and you see the Israelite woman, the kids. Now that is on a steady decline, and that's declining so fast now that you don't too often see families like this anymore. You still do, but they're declining like real fast. All right.
God, the nuclear family.
Yeah, exactly. The nuclear family, and that's like, and this is the family that represents the man fulfilling his role and the woman fulfilling their roles. They're raising their kids and everything, and this is what's on the decline right now. Now, I'm going to come to the middle in a minute, but I want you to go to the far right where you see a woman with a bunch of kids, and at the bottom, you'll see another woman with a bunch of kids. Now, this represents the class of women who might have been married at one time and then they divorced or whatever, they got kids, and also represent the women who never got married, but they're having babies by different dudes and stuff, by different daddies and everything. So these babies are growing up with different daddies. All right. Now this is really on the rise. This is more on the rise than anything else, because this is what we're starting to see a lot of, and it's become so commonality, so common now amongst Israel to see this, where the man is not in the home. And here's the problem with this: when a woman is raising their kids alone, especially the boys, a woman can never teach a man. A woman can never teach a boy how to be a man. Only a man can do that. So without that presence of the father in that home, it's going to be completely unbalanced. And so these boys, they grow up with these feminine tendencies. Because why? Because they've taken on the attributes of their mother. And so these kids grow up in you guys' generation, which is Generation Z and above Generation X and what have you. These boys have been raised up without their mother, so they have these tendencies, these feminine tendencies, because their mother has taken care of them all their lives. And that's why when a brother moves in with a woman, they move in because they're not looking for a wife. They're looking for a mother. Why? Because they've been pampered, they've been mothered all their lives. And so they've learned to take on that effeminate behavior. You know how mothers be fussing at their kids and stuff, and always be fussing at the boys and everything? Well, they get so commonly used to that stuff, and then when they move in with their women or whatever, they move in with a woman, and the woman is fussing at them and stuff like that, they just sit there and take it. It's because they've been groomed that way. And subconsciously, they don't even realize that they're doing that, because it's like all their lives they've been raised by their mothers or anything. And so when they move in with these women, they're not looking for a wife. They just want a mother to take care of them. And that's why a lot of women get frustrated because, and when you really think about it, we did this stuff to ourselves because, we allowed welfare to come in, and we felt, our sisters fell for that. You had the man couldn't be in the home, so you had your 70 years ago, 60 years ago, that started a chain of harlotry, because now it's like, okay, now I can have all the babies I want and I can get paid for it. I can get welfare for it now. Now our sisters are paying for it. This classification right here on the far right, paying for it, because now you have all these children that have been raised only by their mothers without their fathers. They have different daddies and stuff. And now you have a bunch of just hoopla of confusion. And now you got the single brother in the middle here on the top. He's scratching his head. It's like, damn, and they're waking up and they can't find no decent sister in the truth because, according to Torah, you cannot get with a harlot. You cannot marry a harlot, with kids already. Because those women who had those children by whatever dude, that's the only way that they can marry is they get back with the father that they have the children by.
You know what though?
Yeah, go ahead.
Right. To add on to what you were saying earlier about the brothers, if they're growing up with single mothers in the home, right, and they're just so used to the woman, having a household and being the head of the household, it won't be no strange thing for them to try to move in with a woman. Exactly. And just like you were saying earlier, this also goes in tandem, right, with the brother's ability to not distinguish between a woman that is worthy to bear his child. Like, you're not gonna, like, if you see a mother, if she's bringing in, if you see these singles mothers and they're bringing in, different niggas day in and day out, different boyfriends over the years for the child to see, especially for the son to see, right? Mm-hmm. He's not gonna think twice about, impregnating a woman, right, with another that's already have a child from another dude, right? He's not gonna see that as being low value, right? He's not gonna see that as being a sucker move for him. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because he saw his mother go through that. You know what I'm saying? That's something that's used to him. He's not going to think of that. You know what? She already got a used womb by somebody else, right? This brother has already humbled this woman. No matter, it doesn't matter how many times, she's been humbled by another man. She's been penetrated by another man. And then for you to go behind that, right? Go behind the last dude, right? And then to try to make that your woman, right? That's wicked as hell. I heard an analogy, which sucks, but it's sort of it's sort of valid. The guy was like, if a sister saying that she's special or things of this nature, right? If you have a sandwich that's on the ground, right, and a lot of people is taking a bite out of it, then all of a sudden you just pick it up and then you just be like, oh man, this is the greatest sandwich in the world. I'm gonna keep this sandwich, right? Does that make you a fool, right? Or does that make you smart? That's going to make you a fool because everybody else tried that sandwich and didn't want it, right? And then now you're going to come along and you're going to take the leftover from what all the other, from all whatever else these other brothers have left behind on this woman, and now you're going to take a hold of it, all right? That's not a good, that's not a righteous thing. That's wicked, right? You're inviting, right? You're inviting unclean spirits on you, right? You're inviting a problem with you, right? Because more than, like, brothers, you got to understand, if a woman, I know we're in Babylon, right, and it's going to be hard for you to find a virgin or whatnot, right? But a woman that's had more than 5 sexual partners, your chances of marriage sharply decline. I mean, like 19, 15, 17%, right? So we have to stay focused. Even though you see these single mothers, right? Even if you're growing up with a single mother in the home, right, brothers? And you see that your mother has already, been with multiple amounts of men, right? And she may have children, and you might have half brothers and this, that, and the third, right? That doesn't make it okay for you to do it, right? We got to stop this stuff, right? If you see a mother that's a single mother, hey, man, don't deal with that woman. Just leave her alone, right? So the children go up to see that, hey, if I have a child outside of wedlock, I'm gonna be like nuclear waste, right? And nobody's gonna want to mess with me, right? Because they understand that I belong to somebody else, right? That my womb has already been used by another man. And scripturally, right, she cannot go anywhere, right? She's supposed to stay with that man. Is it the man's fault? I mean, like, if right, you have to look at it, right? I want to get out of scripture. Go ahead. Do you have anything else to say? 'Cause
Yeah,
I
go ahead,
wanted to get
Mark.
out of
Yeah. I wanted to say this too. Is so the biggest mistake that a brother makes is that he'll move in. Like, for example, he'll have a baby with one of these women. They already got kids by other dudes, and he figures since this woman had his child, it's okay to move in with her. He's not married to her. That's a big mistake. And because what you're doing, brothers, is when you move in with a woman like that, you're defiling your headship. Why? Because you are supposed to have your own stuff. You're supposed to have your own stuff squared away. When I was growing up, you had to ask permission from the dad, to marry their daughter, and you had to have three things as a man. You had to have one. You had to have a place, whether you were renting or you owned a house. You had to have a car, and you had to have a job. All right. Whether that job was working somewhere steady or you was working for yourself, bringing your own income in. You see what I'm saying? Those three things a man had to have before he would marry a woman. So as we're talking about the roles and responsibility of the Israelite man, this is geared more towards the men, and especially these new generations who feel like they can just move in with a woman just because she had your baby. She got kids by other dudes and stuff. You know how dangerous that is, how wicked that is. And when you do that, you defile your headship. You're putting yourself in a situation that's even more dangerous. And it's better that you get yourself. So you know how many brothers I have to counsel on this kind of stuff? I can count them. I can't even count them on my fingers, Israel, that I had to counsel brothers who were getting ready to move in with these women they had kids by, and they had other kids by other dudes. I was like, do not do that. That is the worst thing. Now, if you want to be by your kids so bad, then you go visit your kids, set up visits with them, all that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? All right, brother, what you got?
Well, yeah, man. Let me. I saw this right. It says, "What do you mean we allow the government to come into the home?" Most had a choice. The government had their feet on their man's neck. No jobs given to provide for family. That's a lie right there, right? I just had to say that, Sister Houso. Well, maybe you didn't mean to tell a lie, but this is you're misunderstanding the situation, right? Back in this time, right, when actually the jobs were on the rise and more black men, more Israelite men were getting jobs than ever, right? During this time that we were getting the jobs, right, black women were leaving the marriage. Black women were going down because they were actively choosing the white man over their own God-given Israelite man. And this is a factual truth, right? It had nothing to do with the jobs. Y'all willingly chose the white man because y'all didn't want to be ruled over. This is a fact.
Hey, let's go even further back since she brought up that Maggie, and we're not just getting on you like that, but we just want to give you the facts. Okay, so let's go back to the 1950s. All right, where you had your nuclear black family, when you had the Israelite man and woman who was together. Now we know that it was very rare back in those days to see single family homes, and if you did, of course the mother and the father, the grandparents would all join in and help take care of. So let's just lay this thing all out. All right. So what was the first thing that started to happen? The white liberation movement, right? It was the white women liberation movement, was especially for white women who felt like that they didn't want to be housewives anymore to their men. Well, that crept over into the Israelite community. All right. And what do you think happened after that? The black women started pursuing that. Said, okay, we want to be independent too. We don't want to have to. I mean, you got to understand the process, through all this stuff, and then in the '60s, came the welfare and everything. And I mean, and this welfare was only for like white families. And you know what was so crazy about the welfare for white families is that you could have a white dad in a home and a white mom and get government assistance. But when it came to our people, it was like, no, the man cannot be there. They have to be out the home. And then drugs, of course, started coming into the crack, coming in. They started building more prisons, and I mean, we can go on and on. You see where we're going with this, right? So, of course, this thing is at a systemic level. What's happening, and the reason why we're in this situation right now. Fast forward today, you have these single women who are childless, and necessarily don't want a man because they feel like they don't need a man. But then you have way on here on the far right, you got the harlots, and I'm not trying to be mean, but I'm just calling it like it is, you purposely got these harlots that have these kids by different dudes because they feel like they can get more welfare and get paid more and everything. We're in the mess. We're in the mess, Israel, while the nuclear family in the middle is declining. And you got brothers getting the hell out of America to try to find a decent Israelite woman. I would say, so-called black woman. And that's facts. That's facts. And y'all women, y'all know that's the truth. Y'all know what's going on. These men, a lot of these brothers are sick and tired because they especially the brothers that are waking up in this truth. Because if we're going to stick to the Torah, according to the Torah, every brother was supposed to get a virgin. All right. Now, am I saying that there's absolutely no virgins in the U.S.? No, I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is that because the way the media and the way our people have fell into the traps of the heathens, is that our people, especially at a very young age, especially the girls, are groomed to lose their virginity at the age of 17, 18. And it becomes like a trophy. It becomes like a game where, people, it's like they brag to see how many body counts that they can get to a certain period. And by the time a single woman is 25, she probably got like over 100 body counts. Had over 100 dudes in her, humble her. You see where this is going, Israel? And you see why our people are just so frustrated. Especially the brothers.
Con, right?
What you got anytime?
Oh, I wanted to show a little something, right? You know what I'm saying? This is dealing with what I was saying, right, for the sister, right? This is actually because I remember. All right, here we go. Let me see something. All right. Let me see something.
Bring it out.
This is weird because I saw that. I literally just saw this. All right, hold up.
Men are 51% childless, 64% in the middle.
Dealing with the
Black
situation.
men are 51% childless, 64% in the middle class. And the problem keeps being that whether black men back there were stronger. No, black women back then, we had more of the law on our side, and we actually had more of a community. What happened, if you want the truth, was when the Great Society came in and black women were given a choice between government assistance and your men. Black women chose government assistance. As black male unemployment went down, black female welfare enrollment went up. The government did.
You understand when he says enrollment? That means that sisters were actively going out and enrolling in it, right? Because they know in order to get welfare, the man had to be out in the home. So they're actively going and doing this, right? So this is nothing about no brothers not trying hard and they're not trying to get it in, right? It's just sisters want to be damn wicked.
Not understand, because they say this doesn't happen everywhere else. When male employment goes down, welfare goes down. But in the black community, when black male unemployment went down, black female welfare went up. So that meant black women were choosing welfare over their men. Black men were employed, able, but they were still choosing meager benefits over a man, because at the end of the day, far too many black women don't want to be told what to do.
All right, and that's that.
Mm-hmm. I want to show you something right, man. Okay. I think that's not right quick. So, 1 Corinthians 11.
Bring it out, Doc.
Yeah. Things stop messing up. Can you bring that right quick? My little things.
What do you want? 1 Corinthians 11?
11, where it talks about Mashiach is the head of the man is the head of the woman.
Con, I got you.
Yeah, it's coming up now. Now it wants to come up.
What do you want? 1 Corinthians 11?
Yeah, 1 Corinthians 11 and starting at verse 3.
All right, Con. All right.
Yeah, this is something that for some reason that this time that we're living in, women do not like this. They don't want no man over them. And it says all right, verse 3. All right, it says, but I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ, or Mashiach, and the head of the woman is the man. Now, let me just read that part again. And the head of the woman is the man. Now, we know that the head of man is the Mashiach, all right? Because he has given the man charge to do, to be the headship. That's the way it's always been throughout the Torah, all right? So, but I would have you know that the head of every man is Mashiach, and the head of the woman is the man. Now, why is this important, sisters? And why do you think that the powers that be work so hard to try to destroy this formula? And it says, and the head of Christ is Yahweh, is the Father. So there is an order that was put in place by the Almighty that was to be followed throughout our generations. Now, this whole free thinking and all this stuff, the women's rights, and y'all know that's a new concept, right? Y'all know that concept didn't even come until shortly after the Roman era. All right. So a lot of people think that this was going on for 1,000. No, this is a new concept. This is something that is totally new. Where a woman is working and being the boss and all that kind of stuff. We've never seen anything like this at this magnitude, right? And when a woman hears even the thought of a man being over them, they hate that. A lot of hate that, and I've counseled a lot of women who was guilty of that, and they even admitted that they didn't want no man ruling over them because they felt like they would be restricted from their goals. And you see how crazy that stuff is. I mean, it doesn't make no sense, and this is why we're in the shape that we're in now. And this is why brothers are going outside the country, and trying to find women who are going to submit like the Bible says.
Yeah. You know what up too, right? A lot of things, right, brothers, right? It doesn't matter about, like this sister right here, like she thinks we're following somebody, right? It doesn't matter who says it, right? If it's the truth, it's the truth. It doesn't matter how it's said, right? It doesn't matter who says it. If they're saying things that are the absolute truth, right? That is the truth. It doesn't matter. So if we go back and we look at the data, right? If we can go back and we can absolutely prove the data that these things that we're bringing out, these are the facts, right? What happens is a lot of people, they get hurt when the word of God comes, because it says that the word of God is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit, and of the joints and the marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and the intents of the heart. Meaning that if you wicked, right? If you're wicked and you want to do what the heathen says, right? And you don't believe in God's order, right? Brothers, you got to stay away from women like that. These women are old and bitter, and they end up dying alone. Now, I hate to use a Kevin Samuels reference, and I'm not trying to use it, but this is the absolute truth, right? They're going to die in their wickedness. And then right after that, they didn't got nothing but hell waiting on them. And then the lake of fire right after that, right? So, brothers, you have to be circumspect in who you choose as a life partner, right? Especially in today's age, you don't need a legal binding, right? You don't need a legal binding to say that, you married to some woman, to a righteous woman out here in the world, right? You don't need a legal binding for that, right? If you're sleeping, and we all know the scriptures, right? We all know the scriptures, right? If you've been married and you've been sleeping with the same man for whatever, and y'all just, and you had an elder or whatever, overseer for y'all to be married. Hey, so that's good. Don't put your life in these heathens' hands, right? Don't do that, right? And I hate to say it, right? Well, sister, if you've been married 55 years, go to your husband and get off the live, if you're gonna go married for 55 years, we need to be talking to your husband and not you. I feel sorry for your husband. All right. So, a man's been under 55 years of straight torture. All right. So
and it's sisters like her that needs to be trying to teach these younger women.
But I bet you her daughter isn't married. I bet you that. And I don't mean to be negative, Israel, but sisters that think like this, I guarantee you her daughter isn't married. right? She's out here being a single woman, right? A single modern woman in this society, right? Because, you know, seems to be, she's unhappy with being married. If she's unhappy with what God says, right? She's not, she's not happy in her marriage, and she sure as hell is not treating her husband with righteousness. And this is a fact, you know, and you know, I don't have time to sugarcoat nothing, right? Because, you know, Brother Daniel and myself, man, we trying to have everybody to try to keep the commandments so we can get the hell up out of here and get to the kingdom. Any wickedness, man, we throwing that down with a quickness.
Yeah.
Right.
And just from her statements, I have to question if she is even married. You know, why would she be here on the live? You got a man at home. You know, you up here talking all kinds of stuff like you're a single woman or something.
Yeah, I don't understand. You know, if you got a home, if you got a man, why are you worried about the governments and the covenant to the home and all the other stuff? That doesn't make any sense. Right.
So, you know, and like brother brought it out. You know, brothers, you know, brothers, you gotta be very, very, very careful when selecting. All right, and I got it. You know, and I know what the scripture says about, you know, it's better to marry than to burn. You know, you don't want to get with somebody that's outside of Torah, and then, you know, you end up losing your soul salvation. Because what happens when you get with a woman and they got different kids by different dudes and everything, then you're committing adultery because, for one, matter of fact, you know what? Let me bring that up right quick. Did you have something up?
Well, I was gonna go over some stuff that you know, us men need to really be focusing on.
Okay, go ahead.
You know, well, brothers, here it says, by mercy and truth, iniquity is purged. Right, by mercy, right? That means, you know, forgiveness to your brother, and by truth, right? That means keeping these commandments, right? Mm-hmm. You know, iniquity, which is sin or wickedness, is purged. By the fear of the Lord, men depart from evil, right? And that's real, that's literal fear. Because the Most High wants you to be afraid of what he can do to you. Just as I read, you know, in the previous scriptures, Hebrews 4:12, right? Just as I read Hebrews 4:12 on how, you know, the word of God is going to, you know, split you down, bone and marrow, right? You know, the Most High is not, the Most High is serious about us following the Lord. So, you know, if you don't obey, he wants you to be afraid of that. You know, so just like if you were a child and you know, you didn't want your dad to whoop you, right? If you did whatever that was displeasing to him. All right, it's the same way with the Lord. It says, when a man's ways please the Lord, right, he maketh even his enemies to be at peace with him. Now, that right there is a very pivotal verse, because a lot of us complain about the places that we work, right? You know, saying the white man got his you know, boot on our neck, you know, and you know, this thing and that. And this is chapter Proverbs chapter 16, right? And then we read 6, 7, 8, and 9, right, for Sister Melton. Right. And so here, right, it says, when a man's ways please the Lord, he maketh even his enemies to be at peace with him. Right. And see, this is very important in a home structure, right? Because if we are keeping God's laws, right, no matter where we work at, our workplace, right, our work environment, and the way that we have, because these heathens that are all around us, don't forget, don't make no mistake about it, they are our enemies, right? You know, they don't want the same for you as they want for their own people, nor should they, right? Just like you shouldn't want the same for your people as you want for them, right? It's only here in Babylon, in the United States of America, and other places of the world that are like this, with this melting pot of culture, that people have this diluted sense of thinking, right? In other countries, it's okay to want to big up all Chinese people. You know, in Japan, it's okay to want to big up all, you know, Japanese people, right? And all people in Nippon, you know, for them to think that they're the best of all. But you can't do that here in America, right? Because you'll get labeled racist, right? You'll be labeled all these different things, right? But this is why we have to keep the commandments, because it says that even if we keep the commandments, right, our enemies will be at peace with us. And that's what we need to do. That's what we need to learn first as men, right? As men trying to be ahead of the household, right? Our very first, you know, duty, right, is protection, right? We got to protect our household from the enemy. This means spiritual enemies and physical enemies all the same, right? And by keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, this is how we ward this kind of thing off. Right, man, brothers get into themselves in all kinds of trouble all the time because, you know, they lack the ability to understand the commandments, or they lack the ability just to even keep the commandments. Man, the Lord does not want those that are being righteous to go through hardships, right? Sure, man, He might test you here and there just to make sure that you're real, right? Because just as it ain't your homeboys will, right? You know what I'm saying? A relationship, for two strong brothers, man, one hand washes the other. You know what I'm saying? One back washes the other, and so forth and so on. Right. That way I know, my brother can test me anytime. He know I'm a be there. Right. That's what gives us the value of friendship. The same way with the Most High. Right. He gonna test you to make sure that you're really riding with you. Even though you're following the laws, if he's making it easy for you the whole time, of course it's gonna be easy to follow the laws. That's why every now and then he gonna put a test on you. Like Job, for example. Even though he went hard in the paint on Job, right? But still, as you see that he went back and he blessed Job, right, double than what he had before, right? So it really pays when you go hard in the paint for the Most High and Hamashiach, right? So your ways must please the Lord. Don't be wicked, right? You know what I'm saying? Don't be no lustful nigga out here staring at all these other women are doing all this other stuff, right? You know what I'm saying? We got to stay focused on the prize. And the prize is the kingdom. That's it, right? All these worldly gifts and things that we have right here, this is not going to amount to a hill of beans at the end of the day, right? When you die, it's not going to amount to it's not going to amount to a hill of beans. No matter how many dollars you stack up, no matter how many Lamborghinis, Bugattis, or whatever the hell else you got stack up, man, you can't take that stuff with you, right? So that's why it is a purposeless grind. Sure, you're going to raise up some stuff, right? So get some money in the bank to prepare for your kids when you leave, right? But far as that stuff taking it with you, it's over with. That's why it's important for us to try to stack up these spiritual riches right now. That's why your ways have to please the Lord, right? That your enemies will be at peace with you. That way, your wife will have peace in her life, right? Your sons and your daughters, they'll have peace in their life as well. Verse 8, but it is little with righteousness than great revenues without right? Meaning that, right, better is a little with righteousness than great revenues without right. Meaning that, let's say, for example, even if you're doing a small venture, right, a small business, right, and you're doing it with just you're doing it just a little bit of righteousness, right, that's going to work out better in your favor than you doing something of a huge $1 million deal, right, and you're not keeping no righteousness. You don't have no righteousness in that, right? You have no kind of way of keeping, of being honorable to your brother, right? You're going to backstab and, get your way to the top, however way you get it, right? The Most High said, man, that's not the good way. A man's heart divideth his way, right? But the Lord directeth his steps. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean, brothers, right, that you're talking about righteousness. It said a man's heart deviseth his way. So if you doing some wicked stuff, right? If you got a wicked heart that's devising wickedness, the Most High is going to lead you into folly, right? The Most High is going to lead you into pain and into misery, right? Into the jail cell, right? Into places that you don't want to be. However, if you're doing righteousness, the Most High will also direct your steps, right? To avoid the enemy, right? And to make moves that are wise. That way you'll have a good life, right? Well, a life as good as it can be living in this land of captivity. All right.
And in relation to that too, I wanted to bring up the fact that also the role of the man, is the disciplinary, not just was, but it was too, but is the disciplinary, because it's nothing like a father that disciplines his child. And I want to just read something from Proverbs before I come on. Proverbs 3:11. And I got it on the screen. It says, "My son, despise not the chastising of Yahweh, neither be weary of his correction." And we don't always like correction, but we need it. We need that correction. And just like a father, you brother as the head of the household, as the man, and I'm sure that many times you've had to whoop your children, punish them, or however you punish them and everything. But without that in the home, if that's missing from the home, and these kids, because a mother it's hard for a single mother to discipline her kids, because kids, they never take mothers serious anyway. That's just the nature of these kids. They don't take their mothers that serious. But when a man disciplines their child, it's a whole different thing.
Facts.
And that's why when heathens worked so hard to take the man out the home, he knew that if he could take that man out the home, that discipline wouldn't be there, and these kids would just go wild and just out of control. And you know the problems that the teachers have the problem with the most kids. These kids that are born into single parenting homes. It's proven. And kids that have like a father structure, a disciplinary father structure, and a mother are the most well behaved. Why? Because they have that balance. They have that balance in the home where the man is the head, he disciplines his kids. And that's what's missing. That's what's missing. All right, what you got?
Con. All right. I wanted to go to Luke 10:19 real quick, right? Luke 10:19, right? Because we oops. What's this? Slocky. Luke 10, and then verse 19. I think that's the one. Con, right? Now, this is for you brothers that want to keep the commandments, right? It says, "Behold, I give unto you power to tread on serpents and scorpions, and over all the power of the enemy, and nothing shall by enemies hurt you. Notwithstanding, in this rejoice not that the spirits are subject unto you, but rather rejoice because your names are written in heaven." All right. The reason I wanted to bring that out, right, is because brothers, right, like you have no idea the amount of power that it takes, right? You know what I'm saying? That you will be granted by the Most High if you just keep His laws, statutes, and commandments, right? Let's go to James 4:7, right? Because I want y'all to understand first that before, you always want to command these women to, hey, I want you to submit, I want you to do this, I want you to do that, right? You have to submit first, right, brother? You have to submit first. It says, "Submit yourselves, therefore, to God," right? Mm-hmm. "Resist the devil, and he will flee from you," right? So, who are you so supposed to submit first to? Just like the brother earlier was reading out in 1 Corinthians that we have an order, right? The order is the Most High Yahweh, His Son Yahushua, then man, and then woman, right? So, brothers, we got to submit ourselves, therefore, to God, and resist the devil, and he will flee from you. That's the very first person that every single brother, in order for you to learn, you got to submit yourself to the Most High. Because if you don't, you're not going to be able to understand these laws, statutes, and commandments to get there, all right? And as a man, we need to keep our beards on our face, right? We need to wear fringes on our clothes, right? We need to keep these, we need to look like a man. We need to look the part, right? Because a lot of brothers out here, they say they're men, right? But then when it really comes down to keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments, we're not. You know what I'm saying? We're not. Brothers aren't proving things throughout their works, right? I saw Charleston White on the TV the other day, right? And he was complaining, saying that the Israelites, they were out there in front of some kind of, I think it was a basketball game or whatnot,
Barclays Center or something like that.
Yeah, right. And they were dude was saying something about, yeah, man, they were just standing there. Them niggas weren't doing nothing. They were just standing out in the cold, but I don't see it in their lives. I don't see it, throughout their lives. See, now that's a problem, right? That's a problem right there. That we got all these Israelites over here, and then you know what? One thing he said too, he said that the Mexicans. That's another thing with this false ass doctrine, right? This is like a side point, right? But he started going off on some, the Mexicans and Dominicans and all these other people, they're not saying that damn, that we the 12 tribes of Israel. So there's only these black Americans, right? That's what he was complaining about. I'm dead serious, right? And the sad thing about this, right, is because of that false ass doctrine, that's what keeps niggas like that in the dark. Right, I'm saying? It'll be different if we weren't always trying to include somebody else. Man, that's just the ultimate coonery. I can't stand that stuff. I'm serious. Or we're just trying to pull somebody else in to what we doing. I don't understand why we just can't get it out of the mud ourselves. Hey, let's stop depending on everybody else. Right, let's come together. In the scriptures, and let's do what we need to do in this land of our oppressors. Right, as men. Right, as men, that's what we need to be doing as men, right? The scriptures say, and we need to keep our beards, right? All Israelite men, it's a shame for you not to have your beard, right? Did you know that? It's a shame. Remember, brothers rocking out here without no beard, it's a shame. The book of 2 Samuel, verses 10, right? I'm going to go through 4 and 5. Wherefore Hanun took David's servants and shaved off one half of their beards. Right? That was the servants, not even preachers' servants, right? They had beards on their faces, real men. And cut off their garments to the middle, even to their buttocks, and sent them away. Dang, boy, so dude played the hell out of them, right? When they told it unto David, he sent to meet them because the men were gratefully ashamed, right? They were greatly ashamed. And the king said, tarry at Jericho until your beards be grown, and then return, right? Because it is a shame for a grown-ass man to be walking around without a beard, right? What's the difference between a female lion and a male lion, right? A beard, right? What's the difference between a boy, right, and a man? A beard. You know, so what are the facial feature differences between a man and a woman? A beard, right? You walking around here without your mane, right? Looking like these white men, they want to look like boys, right? They want to look young. They want to look, you know what I'm saying? They don't want to look aged and wise. They want to look like boys, right? You know,
I find that very shocking, because it's like, this is with this whole feminist push, this feminist gender that they're pushing out and everything, and it's like they're constantly trying to emasculate the men at a very, very young age, and they grow up. And again, part of that too is growing up in these single parent homes and everything. And these women, you know, these boys grow up to be men, and you know they want to keep the beard off. They want to look young, you know, because that's the new thing. They don't want to have no mane, but that's what defines you. You know, it defines your physical nature, because that's what we're commanded to do, was to keep our beards. You know, there's something intimidating about a beard, and this is why these heathens, like, they'll try to come up with, like, certain jobs you work, they'll try to make it where you can't have no beard. The military is big on that. A lot of brothers have to get profiles, because you know you have a lot of Israelites, brothers who are in the military, Air Force, whatever, Army, and you know military, they don't allow you to grow your beard. That's for everybody, so you have to get a profile. But you know you have these organizations, these companies, and they know that we are the people, and they know that we're defined also by just our beards, not only our beards, but you know, fringes and the way we keep the commandments.
God.
As a man,
you know what's crazy too
about
that?
And we're the ones that are to lead out in that as a man. We say,
I was saying that you know, it's funny that now that's kind of like sort of like effeminate, right? If you really notice the way of the heathen, right? The way of the heathen is effeminate, and they want to thrive in sexual freedom, you know, nudity, lasciviousness, and all types of wickedness, right? You know, that's what they thrive on, right? That's what they absolutely thrive on. Man, you got to look at this stuff. Let's say this whole agenda, right? That, you know, let's say, for example, right? You see all this power that these women have nowadays, right? This is all because of the white man. You know, all say so here in this country is done by a white man at the end of the day. Let's just keep it 100, right? At the end of the day, right, it all comes down to the white man that's the heathen, right? At the end of the day, right, he's the one that has all the say so. Now, however, right, just because he's put out these morsels, right, these trick bags, right, for the sisters to grab off of, that doesn't mean that, you know, y'all got to go out there and grab them, which is exactly what they've done, right? As you see, the spirit that they have on them is just effeminate from the beginning, right? And then so what they're going to do, they're going to try to push this doctrine, right? Just the same thing as Eve, right? You know, Eve wasn't strong enough to block out the temptation, right, of wanting to disobey, right? You know, she just wasn't strong enough to do that, right? Now Eve is the first woman. She's the most complete woman out of all women that ever lived, right? And she was not a leader. For any sisters that believe that, you know, she wants to be a leader, this is not so, right? And brothers, you know, you have to make sure that when you know, when you're vetting sisters out here, right, and you're trying to grow you a family, right, you're trying to grow you a generation of righteous Israelite men that are going to come into the future. You have to, you really have to vet and then see what's you know, what's in the mind frame out here, all right? You got to make sure that, you know, they're not trying to get you on their program, I'd say, they're not trying to, to trap you. Eat the fruit, the same way the Eve did, right? You're gonna have to be stronger. You're gonna have to try to, I'm not gonna say you're gonna be 1,000% strong enough, because I know that, let's say, even though I'm mad at Adam, right? Even though I'm mad at Adam for the situation that happened, right? I really can't, say it's hard for me to blame him, kind of. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, like, we got to think of the women now, right? And then, she was supposed to be the perfect woman back in the day. So you can imagine everything she had was just off the chain. It was just top notch everything, right? The very first design. So I really feel sorry for the brother. I don't know how he, so he just wasn't really be able to, not do what happened. Still today, right? So there's plenty of brothers today. Probably all of us still made the same mistake that Eve made. And that's at times we do listen to our woman. But the thing is, brother, we got to get wise women, women that try to keep the commandments, right? Righteous women, women that are chaste, right? They're circumspect in what they wear, and things of that nature, right? Because by choosing those type of women, you'll understand what type of mothers they'll be, right? You don't want a woman out there twerking and doing all that craziness, all out in the open and foolishness, and then you think that she's going to raise a champion child. Nah, that's not going to happen, right? You're gonna, she's going to raise an idiot. So that's exactly what's going to happen, right? Because the actions that your significant other needs to hold, it needs to mirror your view of righteousness on the scriptures.
Absolutely. And to add to that, like you were saying earlier, you mentioned about the camps and about these brothers, how they're pushing these other nations and stuff, and as brothers, man, I know I see a lot of our brothers out there with different nations, different races of people. Even though it's wrong in a sense, I understand why, but still, we cannot, we are told throughout the Torah that we are not to get with anyone outside the nation. I want to read something from you. I want to read Joshua. It's going to be the book of Joshua, if you want to write that in the box. The book of Joshua, chapter 23. Give you time to get that. Joshua, chapter 23, and I'm going to start at verse 7 and read verses 7 and 8. I'll tell you what the Most High told the men. He was talking to the men. All right. Again, that's Joshua chapter 23 and verses 7 through 8. All right. It says that ye come not among these nations. These that remain among you neither make mention of the name of their Elohim, nor cause to swear by them, neither serve them, nor bow down yourselves unto them, but cleave unto Yahweh, as ye have done unto this day. You were not supposed to touch these other nations, y'all. These other nations were a curse, and they were a curse to our people. But what did they do? They started going into these other nations, taking on their women and everything. We're still doing it today. That's why when brother was talking about these camps, they're not helping at all. They may, they may claim to keep the laws, but the law, they may tell some truths and everything. But the big thing that they're pushing intermingling with the other nations. We know that these damn Mexicans are on our people. We know that these damn Native Americans and these Hispanics are on our people. Now we do have people that look like us that's over in those areas, but they are descendants of Israel. They are the descendants of Israelite slaves, and they look just like
Afro-Latinos.
They're not whitewashed. You see what I'm saying? Those people over there, and you never hear the camps talking about that though. You know what I'm saying?
Afro-Latinos, stuff of that nature.
Yeah, and I want to share. Here's another one, and I'll go ahead and just put it in the screen. This is Deuteronomy chapter 7. Deuteronomy chapter 7, and I'm going to start with verses 2 through 4. All right, again, that's Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verses 2 through 4. And it says, and when Yahweh shall deliver them before you, ye shall smite them and utterly destroy them. Ye shall cut no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them. Neither shall ye make marriages, brothers. Neither shall you make marriages with them. Your daughters you shall not give unto his son, nor his daughter shall you take unto your son. For they will turn away your son from following me, that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of Yahweh be kindled against you and destroy you suddenly. This is serious, Israel. And we see that's a big problem with the brothers today, getting with these other nations and these camps. You got brothers in these camps sitting up there what they call the Mexicans. I forgot. They call them Mexicans.
It's a car, man. It's a car. Hey, y'all want to see something crazy, right? Y'all want to see something crazy?
You got brothers sitting up there with Mexicans and stuff, so pushing that crazy ass doctrine.
Well, I'm gonna show some. I'm gonna show y'all something. I can't remember what verse it is off the top of the dome. Salakia Israel. But boom, right? All right. Let me see.
Well, I know where you're going. You want to show where Issachar and Judah were brothers.
Right. You know what I'm saying? They came from the same people, right? Oh, let me see. Salakia. Let's go.
So this lets you know where he's going, is that he's going to show you that how they say Issachar is the Mexicans, but Judah and Issachar were born from the same mother and father. How all of a sudden, you don't have some white folks, you call them Issachar. That's one thing I hate about Israel. Chinese look like Chinese, right? Japanese people look like Japanese people. Korean people look like Korean people. White people look like white people. But when it comes to us, all of a sudden these camps talking about we look like everybody else. Now, does that make sense to y'all, Zion? Does that make sense to y'all, Israel? That's some crazy ass stuff.
Right.
You got it.
Right. So brothers, right? We gotta learn how to discern the scriptures. Right. Let's say, for example, it says the sons of Leah, Reuben, right? So Reuben is come on now. Right, I think they got as Native Americans some craziness right there, right? Right, the sons of Leah is Reuben, that's Jacob's firstborn, then Simeon, right? Then Levi and Judah. Now you notice on this little stupid ass Charles chart, right? They got Levi as the blacks, right? Haitian blacks maybe or something like that. Then they got Judah and some more blacks, and Issachar all of a sudden turned into the damn Mexicans. How did that happen? And they got the same mother and father, right? Zebulon.
You know what? I'm gonna pull that wicked chart right quick, man.
Man, let's pull it up, right? Yeah. I know this isn't really pertaining to the exact lesson we're going on for, but just to pull this up, just to show the absolute folly of this stuff, right? All of a sudden, man, we look totally 1000% different, taller, bigger, stronger, faster. Just our genetic code is way OP, right, compared to any kind of Hispanic. Period, right? It's ridiculous.
Okay, let me pull that up right quick.
Oh, God.
They're going to see how stupid this stuff is, man. It's scary. And we're just bringing this out because,
I couldn't pause it. Dang, my fault. Salakia.
Y'all see that crazy stuff?
Open, there it is right there.
You see it?
Yeah, so I can see it.
So they got Judah, American Black. That's the only one they got right. But really, Judah is not just in America. Judah is spread to the four corners, all right? So that's half true. And then they got the Benjamin as the West Indian blacks. They got the Levites as the Haitians. They got
where's Zebulon at?
What's that?
What do you have Zebulon on the chart at? I can't see. Oh, the Guatemala and the Panamanians, the Mayans. What? Right.
Yeah, let me read it down right quick. So you got Levi's the Haitians. You got Ephraim as Puerto Ricans. Puerto Ricans. You see that? Manasseh. They got Manasseh as the Cubans. They got Simeon as the Dominicans. They got Zebulon as the Guatemalan and the Mayans. They got Gad as the Native Americans. Reuben, they got as the Sonora Indians.
I see what they did. They got the Aztecs and the Mayans together, Zebulon and Issachar, right?
That's crazy.
And then all of a sudden, that doesn't make any sense. You got 100% Negro, the phenotype for Levi, Judah. And what is Simeon and the Dominicans? Well, I say, you got the Afro Dominicans, right? That has a so-called Negro phenotype look, right? What is Reuben on here?
You got Reuben. That's
the Indians.
That's
crazy, man. What in the world?
You got Gad as the Native Americans. You got Reuben as the Snow Indians, and you got Asher as the Columbia to Uganaway. and then you got Issachar as the Mexicans, Aztecs, and then Naphtali as Argentina, Chile. See, I'm gonna tell you how ignorant these camps. Isaiah 11:11 would destroy this. That one verse would destroy this whole damn chart.
Done. Right.
Because they came up the one. I'm gonna tell you how they came up with this lie. It was the head. It was the guy from the One West camp, and he said that they came up with these names and everything, and then they lied about it. They could just come up with the names for the hell of it and everything, and even the dude questioned him on that, said that wasn't right. And he was like, that ain't right. He says, we know it's not right, but that's how we bring them in, and then we wire them up to what's true. That's exactly the word of the leader of the One West camp.
All right.
So this chart is false because no one knows what tribes they are.
God.
When our people came on these ships, nobody separated our tribe. So let's get back to the brothers, but don't fall for that. Don't fall for that, brothers. Don't fall for that chart.
God. Right. That's another thing, right? The Most High is a respecter of persons, right, brothers and sisters, and neither should you be. Like, I don't want you to view, Brother Daniel and I above any other brother. That's a bum on the street. We're all the same. We're all the same in the Lord. Only thing we're doing, we're just trying to help each other, to get there. You know what I mean? Is that, what I'm saying? And that's all it is, right? Of course, respect more. Respect one that you think that is, that you see he has, you see that he's more knowledgeable than you in something, right? But that doesn't mean that even if you are more knowledgeable than another brother in something, that doesn't mean that brother, in his lowest state of knowledge can't see something that you have overlooked, right? So, that's why Brother Daniel and myself, we always, listen to other brothers, saying stuff like that, man. We're never too proud of, we're never too proud to take correction or any of that stuff, right?
Speaking of brothers, if we look, hey, brother, go ahead and put the link in the chat box. We got some brothers out there that want to come on and give some perspective. You got some experiences you want to share or something like that to help the other Israelites? Feel free to come on. We want you to come on. Because we want to chop it up with our brothers because you may have some experience that the other brothers can benefit from. You know what I'm saying? Me, I've probably been out there and you've done that, with these systems. And trust me, I've counseled many brothers, and I'm not trying to brag or anything like that, but I've helped save a lot of brothers who moved in with women and saving them from the biggest headache of their life. Because the moment you as a brother, the moment you move in with a woman you're not married to, all you're doing is you're defiling your headship. Because why? Because that woman has power over you now because you're in her place. She has power over you. A woman is never supposed to have power over a man. Never. That was not the design. And a man should never abuse his power over the woman. All right. So I wanted to make that clear because if the brother is righteous and the brother is keeping the commandments, the brother is going to take care of his woman. This woman is going to feel like a queen. If he's truly a just man and he's keeping the commandments, the woman is going to feel like a queen. All right. And so I don't want y'all to get it twisted because, a man is not supposed to abuse that power either. And I know you got some brothers out there, that'll manhandle a woman in a minute, but then you got to understand these brothers ain't keeping the commandments either. All right. And there's situations maybe the woman is mouthing off or whatever, and this dude loses temper and goes off the rocker. That's why Solomon was saying that it's better for a man to dwell on the rooftops than deal with a contentious woman. Sometimes you just gotta walk away as a man, as a brother. But I know sometimes that's hard to do.
Right.
Yep.
I want to put this to you, brothers. Right. This is for how to deal with your emotions, right? Because a lot of brothers, especially these days, right, they're raising up. A lot of brothers are emotional, right, and they want to act out of pocket, right, when things don't go their way. So the scriptures say right here in Romans 12, chapter 12, verse 17, recommence no man, right, starting right here, Salaki Israel. Let me just put a little green mark right here so we can start at, right? It says, recompense no man evil for evil. Right, provide things honest in the sight of all men. Right, if it be possible, as much as lieth in you, live peaceably with all men. Right, So, you know, we don't want you to be up in arms, you know, one of the brolic ass brothers. Man, I think you can just, you know, beat everybody ass and you're threatening and you're doing all that kind of crazy stuff. Man, that's not going to work well, right? That's not going to make your brother want to treat you, you know, how he wants to be treated, right? You know, say if you see a brother, you know, say if he done something bad to you, right? You don't try to look for an opportunity to get him back, right? You know, that's not for you to do. The Most High going to do all of that, right? You know what I'm saying? We got to understand that we have to take all of this, you know, this get back spirit, right? We got to take this out of our hands for right now, right? You know, and we got to place that in the hope and the praise of you know, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, right? We got to hope and praise in the Most High, right? And his son that he's going to deliver us, because he will give us the power, right? When it comes down to that time, he will give us the power for us to go ahead and exact revenge on those heathen and all those that did us, you know, all of us that did us dirty. It says in verse 19, dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto his wrath. For it is written, vengeance is mine, right? I will repay, saith the Lord. So don't worry, we're going to get that get back. It's coming, right? It's coming. Verse 19 surely assures it, right? That we're going to get that get back. Romans 12:19, right? And it says, therefore, if thine enemy hunger, feed him. And if he thirst, give him drink, for in so doing, thou shalt heap coals of fire on his head. You know, if you have somebody that's mad at you, some enemy, right? Some dusty brother that you can't get along with, right? If he's in a dire straits, hey man, you be the one to look out for him. Hey, he ain't gonna like that, right? That's gonna be worse than anything, right? That's gonna be worse than anything. He might not want to take that, you know, that cold, cool water from you, man, when he's burning up in the sun, right?
Okay,
all right, Khan, right? But you know what I'm saying, he will take it for you. Be not overcome with evil, but overcome with good, right? This is something that people have a problem with. Right? This is something that people have a problem with. Brothers, right? A lot of us, right? We want to be overcome with evil when things don't go our way a lot of times, right? You know, hey, I'm not even gonna lie, man. Hey, sometimes myself, right? If I get into a situation and I feel myself, you know, getting upset with my brother because you know, he's not you know, executing the business things like I need him to be doing. Hey man, you know, I might want to get mad. I might want to be like, hey, you know, I'm gonna go ahead and you know, saying I feel like I might want to pay him a little bit less today because he might not have worked hard, or I might want to do this or do that, right? But you know, that's evil, right? You know, so I don't want to do that stuff to my brother, or you know, I don't want to, just because this brother might have, you know, came out of his mouth wrong and being disrespectful as hell, and you know, I might feel like I just want to you know, beat him down or something like that. All right, it says, be not overcome with evil, but overcome evil with good. So, right, hey, man, give those brothers a chance, right? Explain to them, hey, brother, listen, I don't take disrespect like that, right? You know, when you come at me, you know, I don't play that. I don't play no gay games. You know, I don't play any games about, you know, any kind of disrespect. You call me a B word, or you try to tell me to suck your thing or whatever, right? I don't play those kind of games. You know, I don't play that. Right, you know, get them brothers a warning, right? You know what I'm saying? Let them brothers know, you know, where you stand, and be like, hey man, you don't want to do it because that's just real disrespectful, right? Us as a people, we need to start standing up for each other, right? We need to start standing up as a people and being respectful, and then show respect all the way around the board, right? We need to show respect all the way around the board, right? Just as you know, in the prisons, right? And you know, this is wild, but in the prisons, there's a lot of respect there, right? For those who don't know, you know, I've been myself, right? I got locked up in the feds for about 10 years, right? You know, at one point in time, and in there, there's a lot of respect, right? You know, brothers, they don't say nothing crazy out of their mouths, right? You got, you know, it's none of that stuff in the joint, right? All brothers are respectful to each other, right? Because we're all doing this together. We're all doing this time together, or whatever. You know what I'm saying, for how many years that we're in there, right? We're all doing the time. So the respect to each other is going to be on a different level. Main one, because everybody's stressed. You know what I'm saying? Man, who wants to wake up and know you got 10 years left? Right? Man, that sucks. Right? So you're going to be respectful to the next brother. And we need to keep that same kind of way out here, you know, even in society, right? Brothers are disrespectful to each other, right? They look at each other crazy, right? They don't want to, you know, hey, right, they don't want to help you out. They don't want to look out for you, right? They don't want to, you know, give a brother a chance. Hey, you know, and the joint is not like that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, man, well, not in the feds anyway. You know what I'm saying? It's not all crazy. Like the black folks, right? All the brothers, hey, man, they stick together. True, you might have some brothers that from different areas and they might stick together than others, but you best believe that when the Mexicans started some craziness against against one black brother, right? All the brothers are going to get involved. You understand? Like man, when you got one white dude over here starting up something with the Israelites, right? All the Israelites are going to get involved, right? That's how it is because we stick together because we understand what it is, right? We respect each other and we stick together. That's the same thing that real men, right, need to be out here on the streets, right? Hey man, you see some heathen getting on your brother, right? Or you see some heathen, hey man, the brothers need to click up, right? Man, we so quick to click up on each other, right? But we're not quick to click up on these damn heathen and these enemies that are around about, right? That's what makes us strong as a nation. That's what makes real men being able to stand out and for us to build our own, right, man? We don't gotta fight these damn heathen. We don't gotta, go their route, right? We got the Most High to fight for us, right? We got Hamashiach to fight for us. Only thing we have to do is keep these commandments and be separate from these heathen, right? Until we get that down, right? Until we do that, right, we're always going to be in the straits. We're always going to be in the degradation of the void. We're always going to be suffering. The boot print is going to be on our neck. We're going to get spit on, talked about, on the news, disrespected all the time with these heathens because guess what? We don't even respect our damn selves. We don't respect ourselves to come together. Our business is always out in the streets, right? Some wicked ass Israelite woman is always on TV talking, running her damn mouth, and won't shut the hell up about what's going on in the community, right, man? We got these coon ass niggas that are up there too, right? You know what I'm saying? Hey, nobody ain't shutting them up, man. You got some clown like Charles Barkley up there talking that we should have a brother on the ready to come put a boot up his ass. Hey man, just run by, you know what I'm saying? Run by boot kicking. You know what I'm saying? Stop him and shut your dumb ass up on that television. You know what I'm saying, man? We as a people, we got to stick together. But we don't. We let too many of these coons, you know what I'm saying, just get up on TV and say whatever they want to say without any kind of, with any kind of repercussions. Man, these other nations, man, they don't do that. Right? You don't see these other nations bad mouthing their own people too much. It's only niggas that you see doing that. Right? It even to the songs, to, you know what I'm saying, to whatever, right? We got to stop that, right? And men, you have to stop that. Brothers, right? Stop going, men as a whole, the Israelite man, right? We have to start acting like kings, right? We have to start acting like kings and priests, and we have to stop acting like peasants. That's what we're acting like. Man, you niggas going after other niggas' women, you a peasant, nigga. You know what I'm saying? You going after these baby mamas that already had wombs used up and plenty of bodies, man, you a peasant, nigga. Kings deserve the best, right? Kings deserve the best, right? So if you're running around choosing low quality situations, low quality women, and things that don't match up to being a king, right? How are we going to ever rise up from a place of low, of low vibrations? You're not going to be able to rise up because you're only
speaking of that, and speaking of what you're saying about the whole the whole disrespect thing. You got to look at what's being pushed in the hip hop world too, because there was a video I saw, and Kanye brought out a really good point where he says, like, in the rap industry, when words of power, Israel, words of power. So when you got a brother that's talking about, I'm gonna F your woman, this and that, and I'm gonna kill this nigga. People hear that stuff over and over and over, and got the term what's called gangster rap and everything. This shit ain't helping because you got our brothers out there, they're singing about this stuff. They're talking about killing their own brother, robbing their own brother, sleeping with their brothers' wives, and all that kind of stuff. Now, what kind of message do you think that's going to send out to our people? And it's like they do this stuff constantly over and over and over and everything, and then our people are wondering what the hell is going on. And you got our brothers out there rapping about that stuff, putting it in the music.
This is scripture about it.
Words are power, Israel, and that's why I don't even think we even realize the damage that we do to one another, especially the brothers in this whole hip hop world.
Let me bring the scripture out.
We're dogging up. The hip hop world is more dangerous. It is more dangerous than slavery and the KKK put together. You know why it's dangerous? It's because it's turning our young brothers into haters of their own brothers. You kill it. The word says even if you hate a brother in your own heart, you've committed sin. Yeah, it's that serious, you know. And see, the enemy knows this. If the enemy knows that he can get us to turn against one another, especially in the rap world and everything, you know, this stuff gets crazy.
So to add on to what Brother Daniel was saying, it says, "For whence come wars and fightings among you?" Talking about the Israelites, right? "Come they not hence, even of your lust that war in your members? Ye lust and ye have not, ye kill and ye desire to have, and cannot obtain. Ye fight and war, yet ye have not, because ye ask not." Right? "Ye ask and receive not, because ye ask amiss, that ye may consume it upon your lust." You know, Israelites, you know, Israel isn't wicked. That's the only thing we're doing, right? That's why we're fighting among each other, right? And because there's lust in our members, right? You know what I'm saying? We desire to kill each other, right? We don't desire to kill the heathen and get out of this captivity, you know? So just to add on what Brother Daniel was saying, man, just James 4, man, it's the same thing. Go ahead, Ox, Lucky.
Oh, no, that's all I wanted to say. That one.
Con.
What was on my mind because I didn't want to lose that thought. But yeah, I mean, man, we push this stuff on our own people, and you know, we doing it to ourselves. You know, and get back to the sisters. You know, a woman, you know, a type of woman that's respected the most. A woman that knows her worth. A woman who knows that her value is worth more than she can even imagine. Let me give an example. You know, and there's some good sisters out there who actually are virgins who know better to. They won't even try to go there with a brother. You know what I'm saying? They'll make sure that brother, they'll test the spirits and making sure that brother is keeping the laws and what have you and everything. But a woman that is most respected is a woman that has no respect for herself. Why? Because she's already putting her body out there. She's out there twerking. She's out there wearing stuff. She's wearing apparel that's going to draw the attention of men. You know. And she's talking about, well, she don't want nobody looking at her body, but then you got on these tight ass pants and, you know, these half cut shirts and everything, and you showing all your body parts and stuff. I mean, what you think a brother gonna do? He gonna look. And you know, and that's all you're doing is when you dress like that, you wearing all that Becky hair and everything. You know, you're disrespecting yourself. You're disrespecting your God-given rights. You know, and it's a damn shame that so many of our women are losing their virginities at such a young age because they feel like that's the only way to get attention from the men. That's not. That's the wrong kind of attention. And then you end up with ass whoopers and felons and everything, and you wonder why you can't even get a good man because you're putting yourself out there. So the most disrespected woman is a woman that has no respect for herself, and the same thing with the brother. All right, the man is just going out there and just you know, sticking every woman he can stick and everything. You know, he has no respect for the woman. He has no respect for you, and that's the kind of brothers that you don't need to be getting with sisters. The kind of brothers you need to stay far away from. They ain't keeping the commandments, and they have not proved themselves. You know, the scripture says you should know them by their fruits. You would know them by their fruits. Pay attention. You know, but for some reason, some of our women, they just have a strange lust for just crazy niggas out there, just disrespecting other women and everything. So you know, you gotta look at it.
All right, James chapter 1, right, verse 13. It says, "Let no man say when he is tempted, I am tempted of God. For God cannot be tempted with evil, neither tempteth he any man." Right? Because Satan is out there for that, right? That's who we made to do that. But every man is tempted when he is drawn away from his lone lust and enticed. Then when lust hath conceived, it bringeth forth sin, and sin, when it is finished, bringeth forth death. Do not err, my beloved brethren, right? Which goes back to what Daniel was saying, right? Also, you brothers, right? You know, if you see a harlot out there, some woman that's, you know, dressed, you know, in a scantily clad outfits, right? Those are the women that you want to stay away from. You don't want to look at that woman, right? You don't want to be tempted from that wickedness, because I can guarantee you, right? She got your soul waiting to go to the pits of the belly of hell, right? I can guarantee you that, right? So, right, when we're out here, right, we can't get, you know what I'm saying, we can't be, oh, man, the Lord's tempting me. You got to know that the Satan is on the other side, walking up and down the earth, right, seeing who he can devour. You know, hey man, he might have that woman walk past you, you know, say with them short shorts on, right? Or sisters, you know, he might have that brother, you know, he might have the Lamborghini and you know, gold chains, right? But you know, he don't have no wife. He don't have no wife, but he got all the women, right? That's wicked as hell, right? You know what I'm saying? You know, this brother ain't doing nothing before the kid. You don't want to get with no brother and brother. You don't want to get with no woman that you can't, you know, that you can't provide for, right? You know, so if you look at the scriptures and look at all the brothers like Abraham, you know, Isaac, Jacob, so forth and so on, they had their own, right? They weren't moving in with no damn woman, right? They had their own. The woman was moving in with them, right? Because and essentially, when she takes your last name, right, as we do, as the custom still is, even though they want to say, you know, they understand, right? These heathens even understand the customs that even when you take a woman, you know what I'm saying, when a man takes a when a woman is given a man's last name, he is now her property. I mean, she is now his. She belongs to him. That's my last name now. You know, you name something, when you put the name on, that belongs to you. That doesn't, you know what I'm saying, she doesn't belong to herself anymore, right? So you're under the, you know, so now she's under your umbrella, right? Your umbrella of leadership. Some brothers can't lead, right? And that's a problem that we have in America. That's a problem we have all over Israel, right? Your ability to lead is really weak, right? That's because we are so focused on what the heathen is doing instead of keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments, right? You know, it'd be, you know, now sister, now, if brother, now I'm not saying that, you know, you can only have one woman, right? You know what I'm saying? I would advise that truth. You know what I'm saying? That would be, you know what I'm saying, something to advise. But if you, you know, if you, oh, I can't even say that, right? You know, so I can't even say that because that's going to be weird, because we're supposed to look at our sisters with righteousness, right? You're not supposed to just be looking at them, you know, just because you want to, you know, or you know, have sex with the woman, right? You're supposed to be looking at her in righteousness in order for you to have you a strong family with that is within the Lord, right? And if you can't do that, then like I said, you don't want to base your relationship off of lust in the very beginning, right? Exactly. That's you know, that's going to be wicked as hell, right? However, go ahead. Wait till next
done? Somebody put, can't wait until the next gen is completely raised in the laws, commandments, and statutes. It's going to be a beautiful thing to see. We got to pray for that, because this, especially this generation, is most wild generation, and because we're in this melting pot, America melting pot, you know, the heathens have skillfully manipulated even the younger generation. But yes, you will have there will be a remnant that's going to be keeping the laws. That's for sure.
All right, let me see. Brother Set Apart, he says, what happens if you have a job that makes you work every Shabbat? Should you leave? All right, provided you don't have a wife and kids, and is Deuteronomy 25:11 still in play today? Let's go there real quick. Slocky 25:11. Well, the Lord says, okay, brother, you know, said, what happens if you have a job, Slocky, right? What happens if you have a job that makes you work every Shabbat? What does the Lord say about working on the Shabbat? Is it a go or is it a no-go?
It's a no-go.
Right? Is it, yeah, right? So that means no, right? You don't want you a job that you should. If you have a job that makes you work on the Shabbat, right? What you need to do is, first of all, right, we have a calendar that you can download. You need to download that. You need to have your paperwork in your hand. So when you do go to an employer, you need to show him that these are the days that I can work and these are the days that I cannot work. Mm-hmm. You know, I can work all through the holidays and this, that, and the third, but on these holy days, these are the days that I need all throughout the year. I come bring you something. This is, you know, this is what I do. This is my religion, or what have you. If you have a job right now and it makes you work on the Shabbat, you know, try to reason with them, right? Like I said, download the calendar, go show them the days that you need to work, and you know, this, that, and the third, and you know, just explain to you that you're getting your spirit right. However, if they do not want to let you, you know, to celebrate those holy days, I suggest that you pray and you look for another job that does let you rest on the Sabbath day. Right. And
here's a benefit about that, brother, too, is that there's other jobs out there. There's plenty of jobs out there, and I can say that's the advantage of being in America, because there are a lot of jobs, different jobs that you can do that you can control whether you work on the Shabbat and everything. And so, you know, like Brother Intel was saying, you know, as a last resort, reason with the manager, and if they still don't comply, guess what? Then they don't deserve you. They don't need you there. You know, and go somewhere else, because that's their loss. You know what I'm saying? If they really want you there, then they're gonna comply to the Most High's laws.
Con.
Yep. That's I've been in those situations where they wanted me to work on the Shabbat. I said I'm quitting. I'm gonna threaten to quit because I was the best worker there. They couldn't afford to lose me, so they said, okay, well, we'll let you have your Shabbats off.
Con. That's a good suggestion right there, Sister T. Hicks. That's a good suggestion too. That's a good
Yeah,
suggestion.
that too. Yeah, I know people that does that too. Use your personal days.
All right.
But sometimes I can get. I know a person who used all his personal days. Sometimes I can kind of get wore out too. So, but good one.
All right. Okay, it says Deuteronomy 25:11 still. No, it's not today, right? Because the law, like I said, we have grace and mercy today, right? So it says, when men strive together one with another, and the wife of one draweth near for to deliver her husband out of the hand of him that smiteth him, and putteth forth her hand and taketh him by the secrets, then thou shalt cut off her hand, thine eye shall not pity her. Meaning that, let's say, for example, if Brother Daniel and I got into a fight, and I was whooping the hell at a Brother Daniel, I was beating him upside down, right? I was like, what is he talking about? No, right? But let's say if I was
he's a good dreamer, y'all. He's a really good dreamer.
Right. Let's say I was whooping him upside down, right? And Brother Daniel's wife ran up and to stop me from whooping on him, she grabbed me by the private parts, right? She grabbed me by the balls or whatever. She's supposed to get her hand cut off. Right? She's supposed to get her hand cut off because that's not a part that any woman should be grabbing, especially on the husband on another man. Right? So we do not cut off sisters' hands today. Right? We don't do that. That is something that we have grace upon in these days. So of course it's not for her to do that, and if she does do that, that's wicked as hell, and she has to ask for forgiveness, right? Because that is a law that's kind of serious, right? That'll get your hand chopped off if you do that, right? So sisters, don't be touching any other man's man parts that is not your husband, right? That's something wicked, right? If it's the old law, you got your hand chopped off, right? So don't do that, brother. I hate to say it, boy, but let's all you brothers out there that know the law, statutes, and commandments, let's make sure we know how to throw them hands, right? So we don't have to have our wife coming to save us, in a situation. This would be embarrassing as hell anyway. Yeah, no, that's an interesting question you bring up there, because hopefully no man, end up in that situation, But all of Israel, especially back then, knew how to fight, because they fought in the army, so they were skilled. They were skilled fighters. Con. And there were laws, stuff like that. If someone had to fight, if their teeth got knocked out or whatever, you had to pay money. Con. Mm-hmm. All right, brothers. This is a little serious, but this is something else, right? We're gonna go to Matthew 5:28. All right, Matthew chapter 5:28. Still with you. Because a lot of brothers got these lustful eyes, right? We like to, we like to see, right? Well, let me see. Yikes. All right. Hold on. Oh, I'm gonna do all of that, right? Boom, all of that right there. 28 through 30, right? 28 through 30. It says, "But I say unto you, that whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her, hath committed adultery with her already in his heart." Right? What does that mean? Right? You're not supposed to over there talking about, if you see another man's wife, you ain't supposed to be thinking that she's fine. Right? Oh, nigga, you got a badass wife, Nick. Nah, you wicked as hell. Right? You don't be lusting after the next brother's wife. Right? You don't even look at her that way. It should be, the scriptures say, it should be a shame. You should feel shame for even looking upon the next man's old lady. Right? You should be ashamed of yourself, right? We got too many brothers out here. That's why we got these stupid ass rap songs out here that tell me, I'm gonna go have sex with your girl, and I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, right? Because these niggas don't know the commandments. But I say unto you that whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her, have committed adultery with her already in his heart, right? Don't be looking at the next brother girl. That's not for you to look at. You don't even need to be looking that direction. You need to be paying attention to the brother, right? And then for them sisters, they don't need to be talking to the next brother, right? They don't need to be talking to the next brother about nothing, right? You know what I'm saying? If your husband there and the brother there, they need to be talking about stuff. If you have something that you want to say to the brother, or you want to ask him about something, you filter that through your husband, right? You filter that through your husband. 29. And if thy right eye offend thee, pluck it out and cast it from thee. For it is profitable for thee that one of thy members should perish, and not thy whole body should be cast into hell, right? And not that thy whole body should be cast into hell. So the Most High is, hey, that's how serious it is, right? You don't want the rest of your, hey man, if you got a problem, right, with reckless eyeballing, right, that you just got to look at every ass that passed by, right? You got to look at, and you just can't help it. The Most High said, it'll be better for you just to go ahead and pluck that out, right? So you can't even see anymore. Then all of you get put into the lake of fire, right? And if thy right hand offend thee, cut it off and cast it from thee, because guess what? Thy right hand could be doing to do what? You don't want to use that to do any kind of wickedness, right? Selling dope to your brothers, right? You know what I'm saying? Peddling, peddling whatever business that you got going on the Shabbat or any holy days that you out there working, right? You using that same gun to shoot your brother, right? It says, if thy right hand offend thee, cut it off and cast it from thee, for it is profitable for thee that one of thy members should perish, and not that thy whole body should be cast into hell. So we got to understand each body part that you can't contain, right, from exercising wickedness. The Most High says that should be cast off, right? You need to get rid of that body part as a man, right? As a man, if you can't, if you can't keep your ding-a-ling in your pants, it's the same situation, right? Yeah, if you're a man and you can't, keep your eyeballs to yourself, right?
All right, hey, I'm gonna stop right there. Hey, brothers, don't be thinking about cutting your thing off, because you can't do that.
I know. Man, come on, man. You know what I mean. Come on now.
I won't take any ideas out there.
Yeah. Right? Brothers, this is serious out here, right? You know what I'm saying? To be real men, it takes real discipline, right? The scriptures is full of discipline. That's what it is, right? It's full of stuff to keep your mind, body, and soul disciplined, right, from the wicked ways of Satan, right? These ways are out here because at one point in time, the way to heaven, right, the gate was wide. It was easy for you to get there, right? Adam, he didn't have to work for it. God gave him every single thing. That's why, you know what, to be honest with you, that's why, that's the real reason I believe that happened, is because without having the ability to work for it or nothing happened to you, how can you truly know the value of something, right? Without having to work for it, right? We have to be made to be appreciative of the Most High and then what He has given to us, right? That's what we need to be of. If you don't work for something like these trust fund babies, right? Man, you got somebody that they born into money, man, they have no idea of the grueling grind that it takes to get that amount of money, right? They just come into the money and they just think that it's all sugar and candy, blow pops and blow pops and cotton candy. They're happy, right? They just think they can just go out there and spend however much money they want, and they can just do this and they can do that without even working for it, right? That's the same thing. These scriptures, that's why the Most High put us through these situations. We got to work for eternal life. And you think eternal life is going to be easy? Like God is going to give it to you and you didn't earn nothing? Nah, it ain't going to be like that. It's going to be hard, right? You working for eternal life here, brothers. And brothers, man, we have a burden on our shoulders. Every brother, right, that is on the earth, you have a burden on your shoulders to produce fruit. To produce fruit for the Most High, that's your works. The Most High wants to take, each brother should at least bring one other brother with them to the kingdom, right? Even if that's your life, just at least make it a mission in your life to at least bring one other brother with you, right? Convince him that keeping the commandments is the right way of life, right? Just one. Sisters, same thing. Just convince one sister, right? Just convince one that keeping the commandments is the way of life. That's how we start. One by one by one by one, right? Just convince one, and then convince them to convince one. That's all we have to do. We don't have to be out here trying to grab a whole bunch of people and do all this and all of that. One at a time. That's all we have to do. Just convince some person, one brother or sister, that keeping the commandments is going to be a profitable thing, right? Because none of us know what happens to us when we die, right? But we know we got this Bible right here. We know what the Most High promises for us. You got
All right,
anything?
come on, Israel. If you got some brothers out there that want to come on. We'll link it here. Come on the line. I'd love to get some feedback from you. Or if you just want to chop it up a little bit.
Right.
You know, we want to make sure we give you your time as well too. We can sit here and talk all day, but we want to make sure you get you guys, because a lot of the stuff we're saying is elementary, and this is some things that should be obvious of Israel. You know, we all know what right looks like. We know what good looks like, but we know what righteousness looks like. So, you know, no one should be confused in what righteousness looks like. You know, like the brother was bringing out in the scriptures. This is something that we should already know and have rehearsed and everything. This is elementary, y'all. It's so simple, but so many of our brothers break this stuff. You know, many of our sisters go against it. But as simple as it is, it's still being violated amongst our brothers and sisters. So I want to give anybody a chance to come on, or if you have any questions or anything. Let me see, somebody said something. The Afro Latinos are they that said it earlier. You have. Matter of fact, there's a place. You ever heard of Gaspar Yenga? He was an Israelite that was captured and brought over to South America, but he rose up with slaves and everything. And they killed their oppressors, and he was the first one to create the free town in Mexico, which is called San Lorenzo de Negros. And still today, you have Afro Americans over. They say so-called Afro Mexicans that look just like us and everything. They just now getting citizenship. They just got citizenship in 2020, which I find pretty interesting.
Amazing, huh?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, Israel. Let me see. I'll bring on something else. I got scriptures for days. All right, brothers. Let's read through 18, right? It says, but I would have you. All right, this is 1 Thessalonians, right? All right, 1 Thessalonians, right? 4. And we need to learn how to treat each other as brothers, right? We need to learn how to treat each other good, right? It says, but I would not have you ignorant, brethren, right? Concerning them which are asleep, that ye sorrow not, even as the others which have no hope. For if we believe that Yahushua died and rose again, even so them also which sleep in Yahushua will God bring with him, right? For this we say unto you by the word of the Lord, that we which are alive and remain until the coming of the Lord shall not prevent them which are asleep. For the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trump of God, and the dead in Christ shall rise first. Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air, and so shall we ever be with the Lord. Wherefore comfort one another with these words, right? Wherefore comfort one another with these words, right? And I wanted to say that to bring out late, right? When we're teaching this truth, right? And once you bring in stuff out to your brothers and sisters, they're going to be like, okay, well, what is all this for, right? What is the end result, right? And this is you being a leader in the home, right? You being a leader in the home means that you must take up the works. Or how else you going to get to the kingdom if you ain't doing no works, right? Because what? Faith is there without works. So brothers, if you're not doing any works, you're not going to be able to get to the kingdom, right? And so, just like a salesman, right? We have to have a selling point, right? We have to have a selling point of, of what's all this for, right? What is all of this for? Why are we doing this, right? 1 Thessalonians, right, chapter 4, 13 to 17, it's going to tell you that what? We're doing this all to get that spiritual body, right? We're doing this all for the praise of the Most High, because we want to be chosen, right? You know, the chosen choose themselves, right? The chosen choose themselves. You all Israel, but you ain't all Israel, right? Because a Jew is a Jew within, not outward only. You know what that means, right? That you have to be an Israelite within. Means you have to exist to keep the commandments, exist to keep the word of God, like Hamashiach does, right? Hamashiach never disobeyed the Most High Yahweh, not once. Not once has he ever probably thought of it. He's always been obedient right unto death, right? He asked the Most High, he asked his pops, hey pops, you know, I know you've been with me for you know, untold millennia, right? And I know I was the first creation that you ever made, and you gave me damn near as much power as you do, right? But is there any way possible that, you know, I don't have to die for these wicked ass niggas, right? I'm shocked. I'm in the Most High was like, nah, son, you're gonna have to go ahead and eat that. Did he disobey? Did he buck? No, he didn't. Right? He obeyed the Most High. Right? And that's how we have to be as brothers. Right? True, right? Some of the stuff we might not want to do, right? Some, you know what I'm saying? Some things you might feel like, oh, well, you know, I don't want to, oh, I need to go out and get this. I don't want to do this. Or, well, you know, I feel like, you know, it'd be easier for me living in a world with the heathen. You know, so that's a lot easier than me, right? But look what Hamashiach did, right? And we don't got nothing compared to that, right? We don't have nothing compared to that. This man literally gave up his life, right? As you can see, he didn't want to do it, right? That's the thing that we have to do. If you want to be, you know what I'm saying? Let's say, for example, if you're a father in the home, right? And you got, and you have children, right? And you're not making enough money, but you need to get out there and get you a second job. You might not want to do it. Like Hamashiach didn't want to die for us, but he got out there and did it, didn't he? Same way that you got to do. You got to have that same spirit. You got to have that can-do spirit. Because if you don't have that can-do spirit, you're not going to make it. You know? You got to do what you got to do out there. You have to be able to do it. All right, Israel. I'm going to put the link back in the description. And I'm going to see if anybody wants to come on, share a testimony or anything of that nature. And I don't know where Brother Daniel went, but if not, we're getting ready to close down here in a shortly. All right. Any more questions? Any tips on how to study more effectively or learn precepts like y'all be doing? One thing that I do personally, like I always say, I memorize the verses. You know, I wouldn't say like where it is, but just the verses themselves. So let's say, for example, you know, I'll say, you know, for the Lord himself being ascended from heaven with the shout and the voice of the archangel with the trump of God, and the dead in Christ shall arise first. So let's say, for example, that verse, it was in my head, right? I remember, oh yeah, man, I remember exactly what it says, but then I remember saying something like, you know, the Lord is going to descend from heaven with a shout, you know, and then so I'll just put, you know, Lord descend heaven with a shout, and boom, it'll come up. You know, I can study precepts like that, you know. And also, you can also like link up like different words. Let's say, for example, if you want to find out something about hell, right? You know what I'm saying? Just, I mean, like with all this technology, you know, just type it in, right? Hell will come up, you know, however many times, right? And then you just start it, you know, cross-referencing the verses, you know, see what lines up with what and what is talking to what, you know, whether it's talking about the land of Gehenna or actual place, you know what I'm saying? You know, certain things that you can do like that. And that'll all link up. It just takes time for you to cross-reference all those key words for you to come to a full understanding. Right. And you know, that's the way that I do it too. You know, if I'm trying to figure out something I need, you know, I might, you know, try to figure out the key word that the Lord is talking about there. And I'll look up that key word in the scripture and then see what it's talking about. You know, so I'll compare it to all the other precepts that it's talking about the same thing and bring it into one cohesive thought.
And brother, if you don't, yeah, and if you don't have a concordance, Matt, get you a strong concordance. And that's going to be a really good one too. They have them on digits too. So, and also get the Blue Letter Bible app if you have it online. It's free, and you can type in words and it'll pull up all the different subjects like what I was saying. So if you're looking for something on a diet or something like that, or like the dietary laws or food, clean foods and unclean foods, you know, it'll take you to Leviticus 11. And you can write down all the stuff like that. Also, flashcards. I can't really tell you. You can't really tell you the perfect way to do it because everybody has their own method of studying scriptures. But you know, brother is telling you what works best for him. What works best for me is flashcards, and then I do what I do is I do cross references, connect verses, but I have them all written down and everything, my notes and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, it's going to be about rehearsing them. So the more you rehearse these precepts, the better you're gonna get at them. Now that's really the best way to do it. Just constantly go over it. It's like if you're learning. I don't know if you ever played an instrument or something like that, but in order to be good, in order to become really good at an instrument, what you got to do? You got to practice every day, right? You got to practice until you get to a point where it becomes like second nature. Where it's the same thing with the scriptures. You know, you study it and you go over the precepts so much to the point it becomes second nature. You just automatically think about them, and that's why me and Brother Aton, we just think about stuff because this has been years of putting in, and again, it's going to take time. It's not going to come overnight. So, Brother Matt, if you're new to the faith and you're studying, just give it some time. It's going to come naturally. But if you keep at it every day, you're going to get better at it every day. You're going to get way better than calling out different scriptures and things like that. So,
all right.
Let's see. Yeah, I have to chew on a verse. And it's something about this too, because I can read the same thing a week later and get a whole different meaning out of it, and get something even more in depth on it. So yeah, it's just an ever growing. The word is like, and what we have is only just a piece. There's so much that's been hidden from us. But what we do have, that's what we need to study. So,
you know what, too, right? While y'all are studying, what I'm saying, like while y'all brothers are studying, what I'm saying, like the more you study, just like anything, the more you do it, you easily just pick up on it. You start just to pick up on it, right? What I'm saying, the more you do it, the more you read, the more you hear the same verses over and over again. You just automatically just start to pick up on it too. Yeah. That's another way. If you're not studying the scriptures, then don't even worry about it. You're not really going to pick up on it. You're not going to. But you have to be in the Word. And see, that's the thing. Like you're not going to be able to keep the commandments and then follow the Most High and then understand what He says if you're not in the Word every day, right? That's your that's your meditation, right? That's what keeps you grounded, balanced, and gives you a solid foundation.
Another thing too, Matt, they also have if you don't have one downloaded already, but they have the free audio online, and some people like the Alexander Scroby, and I know that's free, and you can listen to that when you go to bed at night or when you're driving to work or what have you. Driving, you can put that on, and believe it or not, those audios they help out a lot. Even though you're not reading them, but then you start hearing certain words that trigger, then you remember that verse and everything. So, hey, get it in any way you can. I still do the audio as well too.
Yeah. Especially when I'm at work, I'll just have the scriptures on. I'll listen to them on my headphones, and I'll just have the scriptures on. I'm chilling. That way too, right? Also, you don't know whether or not if you're like an auditory learner too, right? Because sometimes if you like listen to the scriptures, like sometimes like I'll be listening to the scriptures, right? And then they'll be like playing over like a movie in my head as I'm listening to it. I'm like, yeah, I'm just listening. And then I'm like, oh man, what was that? And then I'll back it up and I'll be like, oh man, I didn't remember that part. And then I'll go to the scripture and I'll write it down. I'll write down a little note. Man, that was dope, man. And then so forth and so on, right? So you can have that too as well. After a while too, man, if you start just listening to the scriptures and really paying attention to what's going on, right? You can. That's a lot of things too that can really help you understand the scriptures, right? It's just listening to the whole thing, what I'm saying, as it's going on and just understanding what's going on in the scriptures, right? The more you do that, the more the spirit you'll get anyway, right? To be able to understand it more. All right.
All right, well, good stuff, Israel. But hey, look, gonna let y'all enjoy the rest of the Shabbat, and we're gonna see you soon by the Most High's will. I think you had another question.
Let me see. Shalom, brothers. I believe in the virgin birth, but how was Christ from the tribe of Judah when Mary was Levite? No, brother. Mary was from Judah. Okay. Mary, you can go through that in Luke, right? And then we can see that the lineage of Mary was from what was that? I'm trying to think of the brother Nathan, right? Nathan was a brother of Daniel, right? Nathan was son, right? Yeah, son, right, son of David, right? So you know that David was what? He was a Judite, right? So he came from Judah, right? And that's why the scriptures also say that the Most High, He hopped out of Judah.
We got lessons on that too. So if you go through our playlist and you go through, that's a whole nother study we did. But we got some lessons on that too. If you can go for that.
That's not what I want to do. Let me see exact. All right, see, Hebrews 7:14, right? Like I said, hey, right, that right there, Israel was a example of you know what I'm saying, an example of how I thought of the main you know, like the main thing, because like, you know, I know he sprang out of Judah, right? And so I looked up the main word, right, and how it was spelled was Judah, because I know that's different than a lot of other scriptures the way it spelled it, and so that's how I was able to pull up the verse, right, from memory. All right, it says, "For it's evident that our Lord sprang out of Judah, right, which tribe Moses spake nothing concerning the priesthood." Okay, so that's talking about the Hamashiach.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Okay. All right, Israel.
Well, thank y'all for coming on. Hey, make sure you smash that like button and share these lessons. And until next time, Israel, say Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Stay strong.